Hello everyone, how are you? Sorry about that at the beginning. I had it facing the wrong way. Really good. How's everyone going with their Christmas shopping and preparations? It's nearly upon us. Can you believe it? 3 days away. Are you ready? I think I am. I've got the cooking to do, but I will be doing that in the next couple of days. So still plenty of time. So I hope that will all work out for everybody. I will just make sure that I'm on the right station so that you can see me and it looks like everything's fine, which is great. So for those who are watching today for the first time, just if you happen to be flicking through and spot me, my name's Anita Mazzero and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Horsham, Victoria. So if you've got the red live button, you're watching me live on Facebook, or you might be watching the replay on Facebook or YouTube. I put all my replays on YouTube so that it's there for people when I'm so we, oh God, my words are gone, so that we can keep up with what's going on, because Facebook only keep them for 30 days. And we all get busy. We all have things happening that we don't get to see what we want to see in 30 days. I've been guilty of that. So it's so nice to be able to go and watch it somewhere. So say hi if you're there. I hope the day's nice for you. It's cooler here than it's been. We've had some really hot weather, but then in a snap it's gone cool. So I wish it would make up its mind, because I don't know what's going on. It's incredible. So today, as I have said, I am going to do something from the new Mini Catalogue, which will come out on the 6th of January. So when that comes out, I can flick you through it, but unfortunately at the moment I can't show you in the catalogue, but I can show you the products. So what we'll do is we'll flip the camera down and I'll show you our cover of our Mini Catalogue, and then we'll go ahead and make our card. So it won't be a moment. I'm just making sure I get it right. There we go. So there's our great little Mini Catalogue. Just the cover alone shows the prettiness of what's available. So there are some really nice products in this. It's probably one of the better ones that I've seen from Stampin' Up! In a while. So certainly worth watching out for. So we're doing a product from this, and the product is called, let me get them ready, Gears and Textures. Now this is it caught my eye when I saw it. It's a nice little bundle. It's tucked away. I loved the splatters and the splodges and that, and even these circles. They probably what I caught first. And then I started to look at the dies and looked at what's available. So as you can see, there's lots and lots of products there, or images and dies that you can use. So you can see you've got the stamps, you've got the sort of standalone dies, you've got a, how about if I just take them out? Just as easy to show you. So we can see the stamps there. There's the dies. Now this square one can be used for your sentiments. Then you've got all these different types of chains. Please excuse if you hear some banging at the moment. My husband's just coming home from golf, so there's unloading of carts and moving a vehicle around, so hopefully it's not too noisy. So as you can see, I'll get the stamp set for you. My stamps just come back over. That's better. So there you go. So you can see, I don't think, well, so you can use this to cut any of the stamped images. So I hadn't played with it yet. So they definitely will do that. You've got this little crosshatch here. You've got, some of them I've got on blocks ready. So you've got the crosshatch here. You've got the splotches here. You've got this scribble. Oh dear, I hope that's not too noisy. And then you've got this circle one. You've got the chains, the bits and pieces, the cogs, and this little cross, and then some screw heads, and this little one, which is a light. So it's really interesting set. I'll just put that there and pop that back in here. And the reason I'm making sure I do that is so I don't lose any pieces, because it happens. So as I said, the dies here are just wonderful. So you've got some standalone dies as well as the dies themselves. And this little screw here, the Phillips screw head, I'll call it a screw head. Hello, Miss Jade, and happy 21st. What a wonderful day. Not happy that you're not here to celebrate it with you, but have a great day. Hello, Cherry, how are you? Have you got the kids today, or is it because they've got no school or kinder and that they're home with mum? Now, I was just saying, we've got the various chains in the dies. Got this great bit of lattice work, and there's two little dies for the light, and then you've got the cogs or the gears or whatever you like to call them. That's all right, darling. I know I'll catch up with you later. So you've got the cogs or the gears or whatever you like. I'll call them gears because this reminds me of a cog. You know, the other one would slot in and it would roll those around. Or they're home with mum. So how's your Christmas preparations going, Cherry? Are you all up to date and all sorted and organised? So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to work with the dies, but I've got a piece of basic grey, just a quarter sheet, but I want the dies to have a bit of a rust look. And what I found the easiest was I'm going to stamp one of the splotches onto my piece of basic grey, and we're going to heat emboss in copper. You're watching me instead. Yes, Jade, I will be home for Christmas. Yes, all right, well, we'll see you then. So, when we are embossing, we always use our embossing buddy. And mine's getting very, very old. And I know I bought another one when I bought the embossing essentials kit. Do you think I can find it? No, I cannot find it. All right, so I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to randomly stamp over the page, and I'm just going to put them where I feel like that they need to be. Because we're going to be die cutting, I want to have a nice look. Rotate your stamp to create different looks. So we're going to pop this. Just fill it all up. Because there's enough grey or enough cardstock there that you're going to be able to see the plainness as well, which is what I wanted. So I'm going to get my copper, and I need a piece of paper, which I didn't grab. I'll just use this scrap piece. and pop that over. Just now, just going to go now. I'm not worried if some of it didn't get the embossing, because just the just having the Versamark will give it a good look as well. So we'll pop that on there, and now we'll just give the heat gun a go to emboss the powder. Now, when I did my trial one, because we're going to be using embossing sheets, I put the embossing sheet on first, only to discover that when you use the heat gun, you actually remove the adhesive off the embossing sheet. So don't do as I did. So when you're doing something like this, do all your embossing and everything first. And then we'll put the adhesive sheet. So yes, there's some areas there that have got embossing powder. So as you can see, if I bring this up a bit closer, you can see there's some areas here that have got no embossing powder, but it's still got a rustic look, which is the look I was going for. So we just got that look. So I'll move this out of the way. Let that cool down a fraction and do that. So we're going to take our cut and emboss machine. Cherry, you could probably vouch with me. It's the best machine out. So I'm going to put plate number 1, our plate number 2, and then my paper, and then my dies. So I'm going to get the dies. And we're going to, sorry if I bumped the camera, I'm going to take one large cog. I'm going to take the outer rim, inner rim, in a little cog. So those two can go together. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to take this little wedge. So I'm just going to have a look what we've got to get on my list. So we'll need to do a couple of runs. And when you use the splotching method, it will always be different because your stamping will be different. And if you miss bits, will also be different. So sit there. You only need one of these. And you see, this is what I was aiming for, to create the look as if the gear is rusting. And you know what I just did not do? I just realised I didn't put the adhesive on the back. Well, before I go any further, I will put it on the back. Let's take this. You forgot to remind me. My brain was thinking back the way I had it originally. Let's get rid of that into the bin. because as you can see, imagine trying to glue something as small as this piece. But I will pop the pieces down there, and we'll do it again. We needed some more anyway. I've got a piece of adhesive sheet here. Let's see how I go. I should pop it there. So I cut this to size, so how stupid was I? So I'll get my scissors and we will just give it a trim. Hello, Glenda. You know, you're not too late. I've just haven't long started. What I've done is I've got a piece of basic grey cardstock, just a quarter sheet. I've stamped, I'm using the gears and textures, and I've just stamped the image of this particular one randomly over it and put copper embossing. There are areas where I've left plain and just the Versamark. That's the look I wanted. But what I was supposed to do was put the adhesive sheet behind. So don't do as I do, do as I say. So I'm going to put it behind now so I can recut them out. Take the backing off. And it's so great that we've got adhesive sheets that have got pieces that you can just lift off. I'm sure you ladies will remember the old ones that we used to have, which were great. Okay, now we'll do a take two. We'll take, I'm going to put the big cog. See, you make a mistake, do something wrong, and you end up misplacing. Come on, girls, where did I put it? You saw me take it down, so what did I do with it? Did I pop it up here? Well, I'll have to use the one I already cut out because I've put that. Didn't go on the floor, no. Oh, it's a great start, isn't it? Okay, so I need another one of these. There's another piece missing too. Righty-o, Anita, let's take a start again. What did you do with it? Can you ladies see, remember what I did? Where I moved it to? I didn't put it back in here. No, I did not. All right, let's retract because I can't finish my card without those pieces. I had issues like this yesterday. I was putting things in places and it's continued today. Oh dear, Howie, who's done this? Put your hand up if you've done this before. Where you've put something down somewhere. There it is, right next to the cut and emboss machine. How terrible is that? So let's see if we can get another. Oh no, I don't need embossing on the big one because I'm going to put it on dimensionals. So in a way, by not putting the embossing paper on first, has saved me a bit of a headache. So I'll get another one of these out. I will give those, run those through. My goodness. You've never done it, Jerry. I'm sure that's a porky. I'm sure you've done it. Because tell you what, I had a run yesterday where everything I was working on, I seemed to have put down somewhere and it just disappeared and I could not find it. I was just going stir crazy. Right, so I need another one of those. this away. Bin down here. Very, very handy to have the bin, so close and easy. Get another one of those. That. Oh, that's the one I've got to do again. Those two there. So with this on my sheet, we have one large cog that we need, and then we want a couple of the smaller ones and a couple of the screw heads. Well, I call them screw heads because it's the top of the screw, so it's when you see that it ends. I've just got to get this out. Pop them over there. I'll just do one more of these. Give this another run. Whoa. That's not what I wanted to do. Sometimes I wish Stampin' Up wouldn't make these things so small, because when they run away, they run away. Yes, Cherry, I know. Yeah, Glenda, it's terrible, isn't it? I don't know why. You place them down and then you can't find them. And you think, you just had it. I don't know. Maybe it's a crafter's curse. I'll give it a name. I'll call it the crafter's curse. How's that sound? Oops, I probably went a little bit high for that one, but that's all right. It's got adhesive on it. You can use it. So that one I don't need anymore. Can go straight there. I'll clean that out afterwards. Take my circle, put straight on my sheet, and it might stay. So this is a great way if you're ever doing anything and you want a rustic look, just adding a little bit of embossing powder and creating that look. There's that one. All right. This is the piece that worries me because it is so small. Right, I think I've got all the pieces I need out of that. I've already put the adhesive sheet on this one, which I did before. So I've got a piece of smoky slate. So I'm going to want a piece of this lattice work, a large circle, and then I'm also going to do another one of these rims. So I'll put those on there and run that through. I know, Glenda, it does feel like you're losing the plot. You're thinking, I had it. I searched high and low for one little piece yesterday, couldn't find it for trying. And the funny part was when I did find it, I'm sure it was laughing at me the whole time. So I've got that. Oh, I did miss something. I did need this one. And you know what? I reckon I've got this piece here, which I'm not going to use. I'm going to sit it in there instead of running it through. So. You know, it'd be nice if our embossing machine had a magnetic section that you could just click your dies to that. I've got magnetic trays, but I end up forgetting to put them in the magnetic tray. And we'll take the lattice work. Sorry if I'm off camera. I don't mean to be. I think that's all the die cutting I need to do at this stage. pretty well all full stop. All right, got all my pieces there. I don't think I've missed anything in the dies. Make sure that they're back where they belong. I'll pay if I take that out. Gosh. Oh, well. I'm keeping it real, ladies. Keeping it real. Like. All right, let's get rid of this. Right. Might get a bit of paper. Just wipe down my, because I can feel embossing powder. Just move that out of the way. Clean that up. And there you go. Isn't that what we do? Yeah, I think you're right, Glenda. I think when we're card making, our mind is so busy because we're thinking of what we're wanting to do, and I think we're 5 steps ahead of what we're actually doing. My excuse. All right, close that up. Just leave them sitting there. Now, what I'll do is I'll pop them all in this tray, so I don't lose them. Smart thinking, Anita. Now, I don't know if you can see these on camera because they're tiny. Whoops, I just dropped one. When you die cut the screw, you get this little star. It's very tiny, but you could, I mean, that's the side of the adhesive, but you could stick them on to your page as well. But they do run away. They're very, very small. So I don't know. I would have liked Stamping Up to have made that an impression rather than a little actual tiny die cut. Might have to say something. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Anyway. So I've got a piece of Secret Sea cardstock. 21 centimetres by 14.9, scored at 10.5. Oh, I've done that before too, Cherry. Bought a second set, only to then find it, and I've been looking for weeks for something. There's got to be a better way. We have to think of something and maybe sandbox it. So I've got 2 pieces of white, 10 centimetres by 14.4, one for the inside and one for the front. And then I've got, it's not much of this left, a 25-27 in colour designer series paper. And I've cut from this, take that out of the packaging, which would be easier. This is from the paper. It's pretty both sides. I've cut 2 strips at 2.5. And because it's got gears, I don't think flowers would be appropriate. So, but it's nice to have a card that is male orientated. I've then cut a centimetre strip by 10 centimetres for our inside. And then I've got another piece in the navy, which is 6 centimetres by 14.1. So as I said, they're 2.5 centimetres by 14.1. Okay, they're all my measurements. So my glue, and we will, oops, I'm so sorry for bumping that. Put that out of the way, and I'll just move this out of the way for now. And I'm going to glue my 2 pieces. So I'm just going to pop them and have our usual small border around the edge. Just a small piece each side. And then I'll take this. And this is also so I don't lose it. Because bits of designer series papers have been caught up in some of the most unusual spots. Righto, there, there. Let's pop that away for a sec. So I'm going to take my Secret C piece and the same splot that we used on the when we were making that rustic look. I'm going to use Secret C ink, our splot that we used before. And I'm just going to randomly stamp this. I just want this as a bit of texture, just a bit of a look. Doesn't have to be everywhere, just a little bit of a look. I think that'll do nicely. And get that clean before I go any further. Oh dear, just a little bit that didn't want to come off. Right, to my right, so I know where it is. Hopefully, I'm going to close this so we don't pull anything on it that we shouldn't have. So now that I've done that, I'm going to stick this over the top. I made my designer series paper just a little bit bigger than what I needed. I did try it by having them exact, but then I found that it moved on me and didn't sit right, and so by doing it this way, make sure that it's straight. And if you're unsure, before you press it down, just have a look to see if you're about the same both sides to give you that look. And it looks like I am. So there we go. If you want to, you could stick a whole piece, but you don't need to. So there's our piece. And now we're going to start on our pieces. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pop that over the top. I'm just going to get my take your pick tool. And as I said, I've got adhesive behind this. And adhesive sheets, tell me I'm wrong, girls, but I think they are the best thing that we've ever had. Especially when you've got tiny pieces that you really can't put glue on, because let's face it, it's not easy. I'm going to get some mini dimensionals and I'm just going to pop about where every second cog, I'll call it a cog because it's what I believe it is. I think if I went to my son's bike shop and I asked him what they were, I'm pretty sure he'd tell me the same thing. And then I'm going to get a large one. I'm going to put a large one in the middle. Take these off. Hands up if you struggle with making mail cards. And my husband asked me something the other day and I said, give me flowers and I could always put something together with flowers. Tell me to make a man's card. Yeah, adhesive sheets are the best thing. And the new packet that we have now that's got the segregated pieces so you can peel it off, make it so much easier. Our old ones were just one big sheet, so you really had to find the start to pull it off. Okay, so that's going to sit up there. It's just going to slightly off, but in the middle of the card roughly. So I'm going to take another one of these pieces and the grey piece that I had. And I'm going to peel this off. And I'm just going to place that over the top, just for a bit of contrast. Yes, I've created that rustic look, but that's still okay. And then I'm going to put a mini dimensional in the centre. I know that will hold it. I just want to sit this one just up here, slightly under the wheel. That's a good word for it, a wheel. Then I'll dive in. I'm going to grab our full one that we've got. Thought some of them wouldn't have all of it on, but that doesn't matter. I don't care because it will still stick. This one I'm going to create flat and I'm going to sit it in here like so. Giving it that bit of up and down dimension, bleh, get it right. I'm going to take one of these one of the smoky slate. I call them a centre because, you know, if you put it together with a wheel, you could make them centres. So this one's going to sit. Where am I going to put this one? Oh, I'm just referring to my previous one. I'm just going to put that one just in there. And I've got another one here. And this one I'm going to pop my eyes do not want to undo these things. So this one I'm going to pop in the centre here. It's going to give I reckon you could make a wagon. Oh, you have a certain sets that you use. That's fair enough, Glenda. So here's one of the ones we've done with the embossing. And I'm just going to peel that. And I want to add a little bit over here. Now, is this the embossed one? No, it's not, but I can put a little bit of glue on this one. You know, pop a little bit of glue, just a few little dots. Glue on this one. And sit that in like so. So this will be a little bit different to what I did earlier. So now I'm going to take these tiny, tiny, tiny pieces. So as you can see, there's that little, so if I bring that up, you'll see the little cross of the Phillips head in there, and that cuts out. So it is very, very tiny. A rotary wheel, of course it does. Now that you say that, Jerry, it is very much a rotary wheel. There you go. If you're making cards for Rotarians, we've got something that we can use for them. I'll just peel this off. And I'm just going to pop them. This is always the hardest. This is a bit like an embellishment, but it's not an embellishment in this aspect. Get the other one. Take out the little cross. And I'm just going to put a couple of the who else has trouble like this undoing it? Once you get it, you have no trouble. And we'll pop another one, I think, just down in here, just over here. Now let's do a third one, just to give it a bit of that's the one I cut without the backing on it, so definitely want the backing piece for these tiny ones. And pop one about there. So there we go. Those other pieces are, the other one I want will be this one. Leave those other extras. So there we go. I've got those gears. And I think that looks really rustic. I'll bring it up a bit closer. Yes, Glenda, that's true. They do look like that's probably why I keep calling it gears, because to me that's what they are. You could interlock, you could actually work them and have these little pieces interlocking like they were a watch. You could easily pop them in together. Oh, sorry, I'm showing you and I've got it up too far away from the camera. So I'll come back and do it again. So it's what I mean. I was saying you could easily put those pieces together and have them interlocking. So really handy to do. See, or even with these, not so much with those gears, but yeah, you know, as the watch. So there's another new look for it. How's that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some dimensionals and I'm going to place on the back. Desperately waiting on an order. It's taking forever to come. Got a message saying your item will be arriving on Friday. Now it's telling me it could even be up to Christmas Eve. So, do you think Australia Post don't know what they're doing? As long as they don't deliver it to the wrong house. I had a parcel before delivered. Turned out it was right next door, but next to me is an Airbnb. So nobody checks the letterbox there. And that's where they put it. I'll just pop that on there. Now you could do this without the piece of white, but I like the little bit of white and I wanted that little bit of erased. And I'll explain that to you in a moment with why I've chosen it that way. This is one of the new ribbons, which is the Secret Sea sheer ribbon. Loved. Shocked. Sorry. Yours came early. Oh, lucky you. I think mine goes for a walkabout. Sure they do. So before I do anything further, I might get my scrap of white, which I thought I had here, but obviously not. So I'll just jump up and I thought I'd put it in with my pack, but you know, best laid plans of mice and men. Thankfully, I've got plenty of these. So I'm going to stamp the word celebrate. And the celebrate comes from the beautiful motives. It's just a really nice word in there. It's not saying anything else. And because I want this as a mail card, celebrate would be really good. I'm going to stamp this and just pop that on there in the middle. Ooh, not happy with that. Not happy, Jan. We'll start again. That's better. Must be the way the E is on this particular one. Right. That's clearer than the first one. That's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing buddy again, and I'm going to go over the top because I want to use the Versamark and the copper in the stamps. We've got these 3 little stripes, so I want to stamp that along here. Place that there. I think I can't see it to do it, so I will put the embossing powder on first. Because I've stamped it and I just can't see it today. There it is. I didn't think it had gone all the way up. So let's have another go at putting some stripes. Hopefully it doesn't look too wonky. No, it looks pretty good. How's that? Look at that. All right. Now I might get my heat gun and I'll just heat this up. Who can remember the first time they ever embossed? I certainly can. I was into scrapbooking then, and the first thing I ever embossed was a button, a metal button to fit for the page that I was scrapbooking. I was very fearful of it prior to that, and now that I use it all the time, it doesn't bother me. But at that particular time, the thought of heat embossing worried me. I think I was more worried that I was going to burn myself. I'm just going to trim this down. I'm going to cut this right to the edge of the embossing that we did, and then just at the front here. So that's going to be like a ticket look. I just need a little bit off the top. It's just looking a little bit there we go. Look at that. Perfect. I'll find that little piece that I cut earlier later. So that's going to go on a card. Now the thing is, with this card, you can decide which way you want it, whether you want it opening this way or up this way. You know, I'm tempted to change it completely to what I want it to do. No, because I've cut the insert to go up the other way. Right, so I've got that. I've got so I'm going to use my ribbon. So I want the ribbon to be like in the Z shape. I don't know if that's the correct technical term for it, but that's what I'm going to call it. I'm just going to snip that off. And I want to not be a bit long still. Just have a look where I'm going to put it. Because I want that sitting in here on a bit of an angle, like so. And that looks perfect there. Trim that in a minute, so I'm just going to get my tear and tape. And I want just a piece. Go this way first. I want it to hold the ribbon. So I'm just going to pop that like so. Oops. I'll go around. I think what I'll do is I'll go around so it's keeping the ribbon in place because it's slid. But that's okay. It's easy fixed. Back in the old days, I had to use a hairdryer to melt. Oh, yeah. Did you ever do the toaster? I did. Let's put it this way. The toaster and bread didn't agree. Now I'm just going to lift this off the ribbon. Come on. There it comes. Yes, the toaster was the fun one. I just purchased a cheap one that stayed in the craft room. Okay, I'm going to sit that there. There's enough underneath it that will hold for the time being. Okay. Just give that a trim. Just angle cut it. In place. Then I'm going to get my lattice and I'm going to peel off. Well, it's not really lattice, that's the wrong word to use because mechanics and wouldn't use lattice. It would be a piece of mesh, I would say. So I'm going to stick this like so because it's also going to help stick the ribbon down. Hence why I only put a small piece just in the middle here, which I will cover with our sentiment. So my sentiment is going to sit here. I might just put a little bit of powder on the top of that in case you see it. So what's everyone's favourite? Yeah, well, you had to be very careful, Glenda. You had to. It's like, you know, when you go camping and you used to have the old fork to toast your bread. You'd have to keep checking it so you wouldn't burn it. Hence why that method did not last for very long. I'm going to pop that just over there. I want that. Not just that. And then I'm going to, of course, I think male or female, it doesn't matter, but I'm only just going to put a small amount of wick because cogs or gears, they do glitter. Let's put a little bit of glitter on. Then I'm going to use the faux bronze pentagons that are out. They come with the Nature Symphony. I don't get the two, I get a bit confused. Look at those. Aren't they beautiful? They're weighty, so just be aware of that they've got a little bit of weight in them. So I'm going to take a large one. I'm going to pop that in there. And I'm going to pop a small one just inside that one. And pop one there. 1, 2, 3. Might do 5 on this one. Pop one over here. And one down here. There's the front of our card. So it's got lots of textured elements that I think will look, I'll get it in the right spot, sorry girls. Even though it's got ribbon on it and I have put a little bit of wink, I think for a male it's not, the ribbon isn't the power over the card. So it's just a really nice look and a great little male or masculine card. So then for the inside, get my piece of white and I'm going to get my blending brush, which I've used blues on, and I'm just going to use what's left in here, which I'm sure there'll be enough because blue is such a dark colour whenever I use it. So I'm just going to add this in this way. Then I'm going to take this splot, this one here, this real nice splat. Love this one. And I'm going to take the Secret Sea once again And I'm going to stamp it. Just stamp it a couple of times, different generations, to give the look there. Like something's been spilt. As we'd all can imagine what a garage workshop would look like. This would be a card I'd give one of my grandsons, who is a mechanic. I'm just going to place this down here. Pop that on there. And then off we go. And pop that like so. It's still got room if you need to stamp, that you can stamp in sentiment, whatever you like. And so there's that. So on my card, grab my card, I'm going to do the same thing as I did on the inside. So I'm just going to put a bit of blue in the corner. Get my secret C and this splot. And I'm just going to pop it different ways without restamping it. Thank you, Glenda. And yes, you have a great Christmas. I hope Santa's very kind to you and you have a lovely time with your family. So there we go, everyone. There's my card for, I'm going to clean that before we end up with it everywhere. Here's my card for this year. So I probably won't be back next week, but we'll see you in a fortnight. So there's our card, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you like the set as well. So thank you, Cherry, too, for your compliments. I appreciate them. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a Happy New Year, and I'll see you first Monday in January. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.